In the silence before our first breath, there was only God, the creator of all that is, who spoke light into being and shaped the dust into form, breathed life into you and me. And from that divine breath, we began our journey, entering this world with nothing in our hands, just a soul, a spirit, and a purpose known only to the one who sent us. Everything we see, everything we hold, everything we call mine is only borrowed. The ground beneath our feet belongs to Him. The sky above our heads belongs to Him. Even the time we are given, these fleeting hours, are a gift, not a guarantee. The wise remember this: we came with nothing and we shall leave with nothing. Job 121 says, "Naked I came from my mother's womb, and naked I shall return there. The Lord gave, and the Lord has taken away. Blessed be the name of the Lord." In those few words lies the truth that humbles kings and lifts the brokenhearted. The truth that everything, from dust to destiny, belongs to the Creator. When we forget this, pride takes root. We begin to measure ourselves by what we own, by what we've built, or by who kneels at our feet. But when the Spirit awakens, it whispers, "You own nothing, child. You are only a keeper of what is divine." Look around you. The trees that sway, the rivers that flow, the stars that burn, all follow a sacred rhythm, one of surrender and return. They give and they receive. They rise and they fall. They exist in harmony because they know nothing truly belongs to them. So why do we struggle to let go? Why do we grasp so tightly at wealth, at possessions, at positions, as though holding tighter could make time stand still? The answer is found not in power, but in awareness. Awareness that this life is a trust, and we are caretakers of moments, not owners of eternity. The Apostle Paul reminds us in 1 Timothy 6:7, "For we brought nothing into this world, and it is certain we can carry nothing out." These words aren't a warning, they are a release. They free the heart from chasing shadows and invite us to dwell in light. If everything belongs to God, then the way we treat His creation, the way we love His people, becomes the true measure of our wealth. Kindness is the only currency that never loses its value. Compassion is the only treasure that crosses the threshold of death. So be gentle with the world, for it is not yours to rule, but yours to bless. As you walk through today, remember your hands are empty, but your heart can overflow. Give, even when you think you have little. Forgive, even when it costs your pride. Love, even when you receive nothing in return. For when the final sunset calls your name, you will find that kindness was the only wealth you ever truly own. Breathe in the awareness of this truth. Let go of the illusion of possession. And as your spirit settles into stillness, whisper softly within your soul, "All is yours, Lord. I came with nothing, I will leave with nothing. May my time here be kindness made visible." Psalm 24, verse 1. The earth is the Lord's and everything in it. Ownership is the sweetest illusion of mankind. We cling to it like children clutching sand, forgetting that every grain slips through our fingers in time. The moment we call something mine, we begin to build walls around the soul. We measure life by possessions rather than by presence. But the Spirit asks, what can truly belong to you in a world that keeps turning without your permission? The mountains you see today stood long before your birth. The rivers will flow long after you have crossed into eternity. Even the breath you claim as your own is borrowed for a while. Psalm 24 verse 1 declares, "The earth is the Lord's and everything in it, the world and all who live in it." When this truth settles in the heart, pride loosens its grip. You begin to see wealth, status, and success as seasons, not ownership. The car, the house, the titles, the applause. They are shadows passing through light. In Luke 12, verse 15, Jesus said, "Life does not consist in the abundance of possessions. Yet still we chase, still we compete, still we compare. We forget that the treasure we guard most fiercely will one day be left behind for strangers to divide. Yet still we chase, still we compete, still we compare. We forget that the treasure we guard most fiercely will one day be left behind for strangers to divide." The illusion of ownership blinds the eye of gratitude. It whispers, "You deserve more," until peace is traded for pursuit. But when the veil lifts, when the heart remembers its source, contentment blooms like a desert flower after rain. You begin to see everything, the simple meal, the warm smile, the ordinary day, as sacred gifts entrusted to you. And you begin to share, not from excess, but from understanding. Proverbs 11 verse 25 reminds us, "A generous person will prosper. Whoever refreshes others will be refreshed." Kindness is the act of returning what was never truly yours. Love, time, mercy. When you give, you return creation back to its flow. So loosen your hold on what fades. Let your heart remember its source, for the Creator does not measure us by what we keep, but by what we release. When the day ends, what remains is not the size of our barns, but the warmth we left in someone else's hands. Close your eyes, picture everything you've called mine. Your home, your name, your dreams, floating gently like leaves on water. Watch them drift, not in loss, but in surrender. And in the quiet that follows, listen for that still small voice. You own nothing, child. You are loved into being and trusted with time. Walk lightly, give freely, rest in me. The heart was never created to store gold. It was created to store grace. Every act of kindness is a seed planted in eternity. You may never see its flower bloom, yet heaven counts each one as treasure. The world says accumulate. The Spirit says illuminate. For what use is light if it shines only on itself? Kindness is wealth because it multiplies in secret. One gentle word can calm a storm in another soul. One act of mercy can rewrite a person's tomorrow. Matthew 6 verses 19 to 21, Jesus said, "Do not store up for yourselves treasures on earth, where moth and rust destroy, and where thieves break in and steal. But store up treasures in heaven, for where your treasure is, there your heart will be also." The treasure of heaven is not measured in coins, but in compassion, forgiveness, patience, and love. Think of the Samaritan who stopped on the dusty road. He had nothing to gain, yet his mercy became a story retold for centuries. Luke 10 verses 33 to 37 reminds us that kindness outlives the moment. It travels beyond the act, echoing in eternity. When we give from the heart, we touch the divine rhythm of creation itself. We mirror the heart of God. Proverbs 19 verse 17 says, "Whoever is kind to the poor lends to the Lord, and he will reward them for what they have done." What a mystery, that the Almighty who owns the galaxies receives our kindness as a personal gift. So do not withhold goodness because it seems small. A single drop creates ripples that move unseen. When your kindness lifts another, you become a channel through which heaven breathes. And in that giving, you discover abundance, not of possessions, but of peace. The wealth of the heart cannot be stolen, cannot depreciate, cannot be lost to time. It only expands with every act of love. Imagine the world if we measured success not by what we gathered, but by what we gave. Imagine if we left behind not monuments of stone, but memories of mercy. One day when the body returns to dust, your kindness will still be living in the laughter of those you touched, in the hope of those you lifted. So breathe and ask yourself, what wealth am I building in my heart today? Let your heart overflow, forgive easily, share without counting. For the currency of eternity is love, and kindness is its golden coin. The hardest lesson for the human heart is learning to let go. We hold on to people, to moments, to memories, to things we believe define us. Yet life whispers again and again, "You own nothing. You only experience everything." What we grasp too tightly begins to slip through our fingers, not to punish us, but to teach us how to flow. In letting go, we are not emptying, we are returning. Returning to the quiet truth that peace is born from surrender. Ecclesiastes 3 verse 6 says, "A time to seek and a time to lose, a time to keep and a time to cast away." Even nature lets go. The trees release their leaves. The ocean releases every wave. The clouds release their rain. Nothing in creation clings. Everything moves in sacred rhythm. So, when the Spirit invites you to release, it is not a loss. It is the invitation to freedom. Many hold on because of fear. Fear of being forgotten, fear of lack, fear of pain. But freedom begins the moment you loosen your grip and trust that what is meant for you will never need to be forced. Philippians 4 verse 6 to 7 reminds us, "Do not be anxious about anything, but in every situation, by prayer and thanksgiving, present your requests to God, and the peace of God, which transcends all understanding, will guard your hearts and minds in Christ Jesus." Peace is not found in control, it is found in release. Think of a river. It never clings to the stones it flows past. It keeps moving because movement is life. Holding on too tightly to the past blocks the flow of blessings waiting to enter. When you let go, you make space for new grace, for unseen miracles, for divine alignment. To surrender is not to give up, it is to open up, to say, "Lord, I trust you more than I trust my fears." Psalm 55 verse 22 says, "Cast your burden on the Lord, and he will sustain you." Each time you release what no longer serves your peace, heaven releases more of what nurtures your soul. You cannot receive with clenched fists. You cannot breathe deeply while holding your breath. The soul, like the ocean, must exhale to be full again. Letting go is not the end of your story. It is the clearing that allows your next chapter to grow. When you walk away from bitterness, you make room for healing. When you let go of fear, you make space for love. When you release control, you begin to float on the current of divine grace. So breathe deeply now. Feel the weight leaving your shoulders. Whisper within your heart, "I release, I forgive, I am free." This is the secret wealth, the peace that cannot be bought, only found in surrender. This is the secret wealth, the peace that cannot be bought, only found in surrender. Each morning is a gift you did not purchase. The air that fills your lungs, no one sold it to you. The warmth of the sun on your skin, it arrives freely, just as love does. Gratitude is the language of the soul that remembers where everything comes from. When the heart is grateful, it sees riches in places the eyes ignore. It finds wealth in laughter shared, in the sound of rain, in the peace of silence. Gratitude is not about what you have. It is about how you see. 1 Thessalonians 5 verse 18 says, "In everything give thanks, for this is the will of God in Christ Jesus concerning you." Notice, it doesn't say for everything, but in everything. Even in hardship, gratitude opens the door for healing. When you say thank you in the storm, heaven hears your faith louder than your fear. Gratitude transforms ordinary days into sacred moments. The person who is thankful can never be poor in spirit, because gratitude turns every breath into prayer. When you thank God for what you already have, you invite Him to trust you with more. Luke 17 verse 15 to 19 tells us of 10 lepers healed by Jesus. Only one returned to give thanks. And to that one Jesus said, "Your faith has made you whole." Healing may touch the body, but gratitude transforms the soul. Gratitude shifts the heart from wanting to worshiping, from lack to love, from fear to fullness. Look around you. Everything you see is temporary, yet every moment is eternal when lived in gratitude. When you give thanks, you harmonize with heaven's rhythm. Gratitude dissolves envy, silences greed, and anchors the spirit in contentment. Philippians 4 verse 11 to 12 reminds us, "I have learned in whatsoever state I am, therewith to be content." Gratitude is the currency of peace. You don't need to have it all to be grateful. You just need to notice what you already have. Thankfulness purifies the soul. It aligns us with divine flow. It reminds us that we own nothing, yet in kindness and gratitude, we possess everything that truly matters. Every smile you share, every act of love, every whispered thank you, these are the eternal treasures the soul carries home. And when your journey here is done, you will not take your possessions, you will take your peace. You will take your kindness, you will take your gratitude, for these are the true riches that echo beyond time. So breathe, look within, and whisper softly, "Thank you, Creator, for this moment, for this breath, for this life." That simple prayer is the sound of heaven opening. And now, beloved soul, as the journey returns to silence, remember what you have heard across this reflection. You came into this world with nothing, not a name, not a crown, not a possession, only breath, only spirit. And one day, when your time is done, you will leave again with nothing. No gold will follow you, no title will call your name in eternity. What will remain are the ripples of your kindness, the prayers you whispered, and the love you gave freely. These are the treasures heaven measures, not in coins, but in compassion. For in the eyes of the Creator, wealth is not what you own, it is what you give. Matthew 6 verse 19 to 21 says, "Do not store up for yourselves treasures on earth, where moths and rust destroy, and where thieves break in and steal. But store up for yourselves treasures in heaven, for where your treasure is, there your heart will be also." Every kind act, every gentle word is a seed planted in eternity. When you forgive, heaven smiles. When you give, heaven multiplies. When you love, heaven remembers. You own nothing, yet you are part of everything. The Creator lent you the sky to inspire you, the earth to support you, the people around you to teach you love. And now the question remains, what will you do with this borrowed time? Let your life be a mirror of divine kindness. Be the hand that lifts. Be the voice that comforts. Be the light that stays gentle, even in darkness. Because in the end, when everything fades, kindness will be the only wealth you carry across the veil. Proverbs 19 verse 17 reminds us, "Whoever is kind to the poor lends to the Lord, and He will reward them for what they have done." Kindness is the language heaven understands. It is the vibration that never dies. So when you walk away from this moment, walk softly. Carry peace like a lantern in your heart. Be generous with your words, patient in your judgments, and humble in your victories. For we all drink from the same divine well, and to give love is to pour back into that eternal spring. And when your soul finally returns home, may it be light because it carried no bitterness, no greed, no regret. Only gratitude, only peace, only kindness. So breathe one last time with me. Feel your heart. Whisper within. All that I am belongs to the Creator. I own nothing. I am only love. And if this message has touched your soul today, let it live on. Share it forward so another heart may awaken. Like, share, and subscribe to Earthly Tone Thought, where each word, each story, and each reflection leads us closer to the source. Peace be with you.